Sorry if you already addressed this. Any comment on the phrase dying before you die? Ramana talks about the I permanently subsiding in the heart. Is there a specific moment in time, like a threshold that is crossed? Or is it just deeper and deeper disillusion of patterns and separation? Hope that makes sense. I think it's different for everybody. I think for some people it's like sudden. In one way you could say everything's sudden because there is only this moment that only ever happens here. And for some people it seems to be gradual. And for me it doesn't feel like there's a total disillusionment of the I. I feel like there needs to be some form of self there in interacting with life at points. And then other points it completely can vanish. So in some instances there needs to be some identification with the body. But maybe we all speak about different things. It's hard to know what people mean by things. And it could be that I'm not as evolved as Ramana, but it could be that we're speaking about different things. But then at the same time, who isn't as evolved as him? It's also really bonkers thinking. It's all irrelevant. It's all thoughts coming and going, and here we are. This is it, baby. This is it. But I do take these questions seriously when it's asked about me, because I want to try and be as open with people as possible and not have any facade up, even though I do have some form of facade. And what I mean by facade is like I do have some form of not saying everything that comes to my mind. Because or everything that I do, because why is that? Let me just be really honest. It's because really I'm a little bit scared of revealing everything over the internet to people. It just feels too vulnerable. I feel like people might kill me. That sounds really paranoid. But on the most extreme level, that's most probably what it is. Like if I really said everything I did and everything I thought without some form of facade, I would be placed in the mental institute or be killed or be in trouble. People wouldn't understand. Yeah. It hurts a little bit around the throat. So obviously this is my projection. This isn't true. This is my projection of the way that I've interpreted society. And it brings a certain amount of pain when I say that. And that's my karma. And that's what I mean, like by that you can endlessly evolve in this subject, because that is something with practice, I believe that I could transform. I think it would be really amazing if I just said everything. I think it would be really cool and really beautiful. And who cares if the results of it, that just being really genuine, I think would be really amazing. I'm not saying that I hide loads or like I'm being deceptive to you, but I know that there is certain things that I know there is some form of facade that I'm living up to. Like, I just know there is. Like, you know, I do these sessions every Wednesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. French time. I mean, now on English time, which is 5 p.m. But, you know, so not always before I start, I feel like doing it. Like, sometimes I feel like doing something else. And I don't come on and say that. Like, I don't come on and just like, I don't feel like talking today. I sometimes do. But that's not really a big one. Also, like, I just know that I can't explain it exactly because I feel like I'm really, really as genuine as I can be in a lot of ways, but I can feel that there is some form of facade. Like there is like I've been trained how to be civil. I'm not like totally wild. Like I'm making cognitive sense, I think, a lot of the time. But it's and also I fart often on live stream and I turn off the volume on live stream so you guys can't hear it. So there's a good example of some form of facade. So you sometimes might see in the middle of the sentence, and that's me farting. So I go on and I turn the volume off so you can't hear it, but you've got no clue I do that, and then I'm like, but I don't do any reaction. I just sort of sit there and maybe I'm a little like, so there's an example of my facade. Like, and sometimes before I do the live stream, I change if I'm in my pajamas. Not always. I sometimes do the stream in my pajamas, or I put on makeup. I'm also a little bit vain with the way that I place the camera. Me and my partner had an argument of that. He wanted me to have it directly at eye level, the camera. He felt like that was the most practical way to do it, and it meant that there would be no slants. You know how you see a slant in the background, so everything was straight, and I felt like I wasn't as attractive in that position. I felt like I looked better if the camera was higher up. And him being a perfectionist, he took it when I told him this. But I didn't come on and tell you guys like that we've just had a little bit of a falling out because he wants me to put the camera at a certain angle. I didn't like it because it can be quite distorting if you've ever worked with cameras, like the angles that you put it at. You see how now like my hand looks really big. Well, if you have the camera lower than you, your boobs look really big. I don't know if you've noticed, if the camera is ever really lower than me, my boobs look enormous because it looks bigger what's closer to the camera. Anyway, and so having the camera slightly above me, I feel puts me in good proportion, better proportion than having it below me. So that's a facade. It's good that I say all these things out, not just for you, but also for me. What else is the facade? Sometimes when I speak with people live on stream, sometimes people make me feel uncomfortable. It's not them, it's my interpretation. My body feels uncomfortable from their energy, and I don't want to humiliate them or embarrass them. And you know, so there's like a delicate dance that I'm doing. Like I'm not just saying to them, I feel really uncomfortable now. my energy's not resonating with yours, goodbye. Like there's a dance that I do. Sometimes I do that, but most of the time I try to be really not humiliate anyone or anything, or be too harsh. But all of these things are relative. Like, who knows, at the end of the day, being really harsh might be the best thing. Like, it's all relative. So it's all like these ideas that come out of the Lisa body mechanism, and then it's like a way in which I'm being. Maybe there's also some idea in me that is concerned about your judgment if I'm really harsh with people as well. But not, it's more that I feel sorry for people and I don't want to hurt them, but maybe there is also that there too. Like that's the idea of people killing you, you know, like if you do something wrong, everyone's like, ah! So it's safer to be kind sometimes. So yeah, so basically Lisa is not fucking enlightened. She doesn't fart in front of you. She's all right with burping, that feels okay, but when it comes to farting, she feels like she needs to turn the volume off like this. See? Now, did I or didn't I? So Lisa's really, as you can see by me saying all these types of things, like Lisa's really not enlightened, like, because when you're teaching enlightenment, like you're breaking down concepts. So you might start, like when I first started enlightenment, it's like you go through all these things, and then you go through and you see that, you know, trying to be beautiful is crap. Like it doesn't lead you to happiness, and it's an idea, it's just a social condition. And you begin to learn all these things, and you deconstruct your mind, and your mind becomes more and more relaxed, like it lets go of a lot of ideas. And then you begin to believe that you're going to get to a stage where you've undone all your judgments and all your beliefs and all your preconceived notions. And to me, that means that you'll endlessly seek. Like you do it to an extent, but you're never going to be free of these peculiarities that we have. It's part of being human. The freedom is this energetic shift from being that person to not being that person. And during the process, the person more than likely becomes less neurotic, with less like constraints or ideas about anything. But that's not your freedom. But you're always looking on the personal level. So when you get upset because you look terrible in a picture or something, or because you've put on loads of weight, or because everyone saw you being really horrible or something, when you get upset about those things, you think that that's your unhappiness, and that what you need to do is stop being upset about those things. And if you weren't upset about those things, then you would be free. But that's an illusion. That isn't true. It's this shift from being that person to not being that person. It's seeing that that person is being experienced. It isn't who you are. What can happen is that, like someone taking a really terrible picture of you, or you farting live in a talk or something, is that draws you into loads of seeking. So you feel so uncomfortable about that you go on this desperate seeking energy to try and recover or try and be something. And it's that seeking energy which creates lots of suffering, and that does dissipate. What begins to happen on the human level is you begin to stop seeing things as something that create you happiness in the future. And so therefore the embarrassment, the humiliation, the fear, the anxiety comes up in this moment, but there isn't this belief in it that then makes it last for a lifetime, or however long it is. Just like pain that's arising from these machines. I also realised that I'm 40 this year, I'm 39, I'm still in my 30s, but I'm 40 later this year. I also realised that, you know, this shift only happened coming up to 10 years ago in this body-mind, this big shift, and that there has been lots of processing. So, I don't know what this body-mind will look like by the time it's 60. Maybe by the time it's 60, it will be a lot different on the human level, and there'll be a different reporting about it. Yes. Okay. Well, that's that. I forgot what we even started with. Hello, dear Lisa. It is always a gift to me to sit in silence with you, whether you are enlightened or not. You have truth inside you, and you have the great fragrance of freedom of mind and being alive. Nice to see that light in your eyes and your face. You are life itself. God bless you, dear. Oh, that's very sweet. I like this way of acting towards every moment and being spontaneous and live. I will try it, and I just started to know more about chakras to observe my true feelings. Thank you. With pleasure,